I'm Ryan from Ride Shocks, and today I want to show you our Bronco front and rear coilovers. So we've really worked on making sure that we developed a really high quality product here for you, and that is shown in a lot of the components that we've used. The first up is that we're using an aluminum shock body here, and we wanted to do that for corrosion purposes. You know, some of these other shocks can corrode really quickly, they don't look good, and with the aluminum it's going to look good for years to come. Moving down, we've got a hard chrome piston rod. It's durable, it's corrosion resistant, and the seals really like it. Speaking of the seals, we are using really high quality seals. We spent a lot of time evaluating different seal materials and different seal shapes in order to make sure that we're delivering a really durable shock package for you. So this is incredibly durable, lasts a long time, tolerates high heat really well. Inside, our shock oil is fully synthetic, and we did that because it really lets these shocks be used on the Broncos. People like to take these things out, and you know, they're totally capable of running through the whoops, and we wanted to make sure that we had a shock oil and seal package that was going to hold up to that. So we've got fully synthetic oil. It's very resistant to shock fade, so it's going to hold up to you guys that want to go run them hard, and it's also going to hold up to you guys that want to run a lot of miles. And then moving on, the rest of the parts here are all 6061 aluminum anodized red, so they're going to be durable and look good for the long run. Another really important thing for us was to design for ride quality, and the first thing is inside is our shock piston. It's really the shapes, the ports, everything's like rounded, smooth, blended for really optimal ride quality. Some other pistons can have like sharp edges that can cause harshness on chop and rougher terrain. So by going through and making it really complicated to manufacture, we went and made sure it's going to ride really well for you and really optimize performance on that choppy terrain, whether it's washboard or the razor chop. Along with that is our big hose. Our piston can flow a lot of oil and doesn't hydrolock, and we want to make sure that the same was true for our hose. So we've got a much larger hose than you're going to see anywhere else, and that was a critical part of making sure that these shocks are going to ride well and perform well both on-road and off-road. The next thing we did is we really wanted to have a good adjuster that added a lot of performance without adding a lot of harshness. And there are other adjusters on the market that are high and low speed, and there are other adjusters that are linear. Ours is the only adjuster we're aware of that is both a high and low speed adjuster and linear. And the reason for that is we wanted to break out separate high and low speed adjustments because they're really different things you're going to tune for. We find that the low speed adjustment is better suited for people who are adding weight. And we say low speed, we kind of mean low shaft speed. So it's like coming into a driveway, slow rolling bumps. So you add some weight, you want to cut down to the bounciness, you can stiffen your low speed compression. And then we get other people who want to go off road and, you know, really blast the whoops, drive fast, and they're worried about, you know, high speed shock movements, whoops, things like that. And so then we've got a high speed adjustment as well so that you can make your shock stiffer for those types of bumps as well. And so we really spent a lot of time making sure that the adjuster can be adjusted to suit the needs of your vehicle and the terrain you're driving on, and also be comfortable in the process. On the Bronco, the shocks are the bottom out stop, and so we spent a bunch of time designing the lengths to optimize the length to make sure that in the front we don't have problems with the CV on droop, and to make sure that on compression or bump that we're clearing the tires. And so these are optimized to fit 37s, and they will still work on a 35, but we want to make sure those guys running the bigger tires are going to have appropriate clearance. And with that said, we also spent a lot of time working on our bump stop. We tested 3 or 4 different bump stop designs before we settling on this one because it performed the best. With our Bronco shocks, a lot of people modify these things, and so we wanted to offer 2 different weight bands depending on the level of modification you have. So our standard weight band comes with a 550 pound per inch spring, and it's good for 2-door and 4-door Broncos. And then we have a heavier weight band that is optimized for people who've added bumpers, winches, skid plates, things like that. And it comes with a 650 pound per inch spring. And we haven't just changed the spring. With each of these models, the compression valving, rebound valving, and adjuster valving are all customized to suit that vehicle. And so we've gone out and we've put that weight on a Bronco and we've tuned them for that weight to make sure that it's delivering the ride quality that we're looking for. So in the rear Bronco is quite unique. It gives us a room for a lot of spring, which is awesome. And it let us really optimize some things. So again, made for 37s, great bottom out bumper, but we've really been able to play with the spring rate here. We have found that the rear Broncos really likes to G out. It's kind of a common truck thing. You know, they're not trophy trucks. We have like a reasonable amount of wheel travel where we got to work with here. And so we took advantage of all that spring space provided to us. Again, we have 2 weight bands. Our standard OEM weight spring is a triple rate. And we did that because there are some really lightweight Broncos out there. And we wanted to be able to have the right spring rate for those light Broncos. So if you got a light Bronco, you're stripping it out, you're going for saving weight, the spring's gonna work for you. But then we have a heavier rate of spring that is optimized for your typical 2-door, 4-door, most of what we're seeing in the marketplace. And then down at the bottom, when you're starting to bottom out and get into the travel, we have a really heavy spring rate to help keep that chassis from bottoming out. And we've just gotten phenomenal performance out of this triple rate spring design. And it really elevates the performance and the off-road capability of the Bronco. For the heavier weight Broncos, we've also come out with a special spring. It's a dual rate spring. And it's optimized for the people who have added, a fridge, rooftop tent, maybe a bunch of gear. And so it's designed around that heavier weight. And it has similar features to the stock weight where it's got really optimized spring rate for that added weight. So it's gonna give you the correct ride height. It's gonna give you the correct kind of feel driving around town. But then we've got this really heavy spring rate down here that's gonna prevent it from G'ing out too easily. And then along with that, again, we've gone through and we've actually tuned it on the vehicle with that weight. And we have unique compression, rebound, and adjuster valving specifically for this added spring rate so that you aren't just getting a spring upgrade. You're getting the whole package. So it's going to go on and it's going to ride and drive and perform just like what you want. With Ride Shocks, our goal is really to deliver the best shocks that you can get. And we spent a ton of time in R&D. This has been a 4-year project. And over that course of time, we have tested countless designs. We've had 3 different adjuster designs that we've tested. We've tested over a dozen piston designs. They've been all the way down to the peninsula in Baja. They've been to the local desert. They've been to the Sierras. We've taken these things pretty much everywhere to make sure that we're delivering the ride quality that our customers are looking for. And I think that really shows in the valving, the ride quality, the off-road performance, and the daily comfort that you're going to get out of these shocks. So one thing that we wanted to focus on was serviceability of our shocks. Some of it was selfish because we do a lot of shock tuning and we wanted to be able to tune our shocks and make that easy to do. And some of it was for the guy that's got to service these things. They're rebuildable. We have seal kits and oil available on our website. And basically, that means every aspect. You got to be able to take the shock apart. And step 1 in the front is pulling the bar pin out. So this is just a kind of a small example of the thought process we went through and the effort that we put into making sure that everything is easy to use as possible and easy to service. Our bar pin is threaded on both sides so that if you've got to service them, you can simply unthread it. Some others are Loctited in and you got to use a massive press and you can cause damage. And so we wanted to make sure that everything was easy to service, easy to rebuild, so you can get a lot of life out of these shocks. And we wanted to back that up. So we've got a 3-year, 50,000 mile warranty to ensure that these shocks are going to work for you and that you have a good experience with them. We also have setup guides to help make sure that those of you that have modified your Broncos can make the proper adjustments, achieve the proper ride height, and get the ride quality that we've put into these things. And then if you've got any questions, we've got an awesome service team waiting here to answer your questions. Whether you want to email us or give us a call, we're happy to help you out and make sure that these things are working right for you. If you like this video, feel free to hit that subscribe button and keep a lookout for more videos.